it comes to narcissistic individuals, they really don't take too kindly to criticism. Now, most people aren't that keen on criticism. Even constructive feedback, it can leave a bitter taste in your mouth, which is why narcissistic individuals will go all out to criticize you, even those things that they once claimed to love and care so much about you, that they once claimed to find endearing within you. Suddenly they show disdain towards you and towards those things. Suddenly they start to mock you and pull you down because they want to feel superior to you. Now, when it comes to dealing with narcissistic people, you can have those who just display a lot of narcissistic behaviour and those who are actually on the personality disorder. And when it comes to narcissistic individuals, it's that pervasive pattern of behaviour. They have that sense of entitlement. They have that lack of empathy. They're very exploitative by nature. They're envious of others. They're arrogant. They believe that they are special. However, they do all have their sort of different personality types. So you can have a communal narcissist, a compassionate narcissist, a self-righteous narcissist. You can have the vulnerable, the fragile covert. You can have the grandiose overt. You can have the somatic, the cerebral. They all have their different personalities as such. And depending on the personality of the narcissist, depends on their reaction to criticism. And when you're dealing with a grandiose narcissist, they tend to find a way to shrug the criticism off, to act like it's not impacted them. They act indifferent towards criticism. Now, when you're learning to deal with a narcissistic individual and they are criticizing you, you do need to learn to become indifferent towards them and not take their behavior personally. It doesn't make you a narcissistic individual. If you don't go around exploiting people, if you actually care about other people, if you don't feel entitled to have everything your own way, if you're not envious to the point where you go and destroy things for everybody else, it doesn't make you a narcissistic person. It can be natural to be jealous. However, we can usually learn to work out that that's something that we would like and improve ourselves. It's natural to want to seek revenge on someone who's hurt you in some of the most horrific ways. You don't usually want to seek revenge on someone just because they said no. You usually have the understanding, the empathy to recognise. When it comes to narcissistic individuals, if you try to help them or support them in any way that doesn't align with their reality, especially the grandiose, who already believes that they know everything. They are the jack of all trades, masters of none, because they dabble here and there, but they believe they know everything, so you cannot give them any advice. Give them some form of advice, they'll ignore you, they'll tell you that you're wrong. They'll hear the opinion from somebody else and then they'll come back to you to create that competition and jealousy and tell you how amazing somebody else is with the idea that you tried to explain to them 2 weeks ago. Or they'll bring it up in conversation to a complete stranger like it was all their idea and absolutely nothing to do with you. So you cannot tell a grandiose narcissist anything. If you try, they might have that dismissive attitude. They might shrug off the criticism as simply irrelevant or unimportant. So when you tell a narcissistic individual that some form of presentation they've done has several errors, they will respond with, well, those details don't really matter, do they? It's the overall message which I did, which was absolutely brilliant and amazing. You can have narcissistic individuals that will nitpick at you to get at you under the disguise of constructive feedback. And then you can have narcissistic individuals who believe they're perfect and just turn around and say, I'm sorry, I forgot you were perfect. They don't take on board the advice. They deflect it. They only take it on board when it comes to impressing somebody else, yet they come up with it like it was their own idea. And when it comes to deflecting, they're going to redirect the focus onto somebody else's fault, somebody else's mistake, such as saying, I'm sorry, I forgot you were perfect. So when you try to discuss with a narcissistic individual how they are late, yet again, some people naturally run late who aren't narcissistic. We can work with that. We can be a little narcissistic ourselves and say, hey, it starts at 8 o'clock and it actually starts at 8:30, because you know then that there's a chance they might actually turn up by 8:30 and be on time. So when someone promises you they will be there on time and then they're not, you mention their lateness, most people would apologise. Narcissistic individuals can use rational justifications, such as being stuck in traffic, which can happen, but it's a repeat pattern of behaviour. It's who they are. Narcissistic individuals can also turn around and say, well, you were late last week to this, so what's the big deal about me being late? And if they believe that you weren't on time for them for something, they will purposefully be late in order to get you back, to punish you. We can all run late from time to time. Most people take responsibility and apologise. Narcissistic individuals deflect things onto somebody else. They might go all out to minimalise, downplay the criticism as trivial or insignificant. So if you bring up a hurtful remark that they've said to somebody else or to you, and you say, that's inappropriate, because you know it's not sarcasm, it's not humour, it's not trying to make the best out of the world, they're trying to put you or somebody else down, they will turn around and say, oh, come on, it's only a joke. You need to lighten up. Because we can have jokes in society. They twist things to appear like normal behaviour so that we don't recognise their unbelievable behaviour. A narcissist can go all out to feign ignorance, pretend they didn't hear you or didn't understand you. So you can say something to them and they completely switch off. They zone out. They start humming and singing away to themselves. It doesn't go in. They ignore you. If they're driving along and you say, do you think we should have turned left there, just to try and help, because you were supposed to turn left there, and you've tried to work out how to say it in the nicest way so that you don't get any backlash from them, and they just continue or turn the radio up and continue driving. Or they can turn around and say, what mistake? Oh, there. No, we don't turn there, it's later on. And they'll drive you all around the houses to prove that they were right and you were wrong, even though they missed the turning. They will mock you. They will laugh off the criticism. They will make jokes about it. So if you try to explain that their behaviour is inappropriate in some way, and they'll just laugh at you and say, oh, stop being so sensitive. You can't take a joke. Gaslighting you, so you begin to question your perfectly normal, valid reactions to narcissistic individuals. When in actual fact, narcissistic individuals that are sensitive and can't take a joke, because if you try and offer them some constructive feedback, they can become some of the most offended people you could ever meet. And they find a way to twist it to claim that you're the one that's attacking them. This is more the covert narcissist, but they find a way to twist it to claim that you're the one that's attacking them to shut you up, so they don't have to face any of that criticism. They can go all out and use the silent treatment. They can simply just fall silence on you. They can ignore you. They can turn the radio up in the drive. They can walk out of the room humming and singing. They can talk to the person sat next to you and blank you. Confront a narcissist about their behaviour or their rudeness, and they simply turn away and start discussing something else with somebody else and ignore you. They shift the blame onto somebody else. You try and say something negative about them in a format to try and help them, and they'll be, don't talk about your mum like that, don't talk about your dad like that, don't talk about your brother like that. Hey, have you heard what they're saying about you? And it's like, I'm not saying it about them, I'm talking to you, but they just twist it, and it just, they go blank, it just doesn't seem to compute. And the more wound up you get, the more they enjoy this. They can become arrogant, just simply acting superior and claiming that you must be jealous, you're bitter. So try and point something out and they just accuse you of being envious of them. So it's difficult to challenge them because they flip the script at every opportunity to make themselves look like they're perfect and make you look like you're the problem. Criticise a narcissist about their work in any way, even if it's their work ethics or their lack of ability, because they tend to blag their way into things, but they don't have the ability. We can all be learning. It's about being honest. We all have to start somewhere. We all have to learn. We all make mistakes. Narcissistic individuals aren't honest. And then they just accuse you of not being on their level or not getting their vision or not understanding where they're coming from or criticising in a way to attack them just because you think you're better than me. How dare you? They look for ways to punish you. When it comes to trying to offer any sort of constructive feedback to a narcissistic individual, they're not going to take it on board. They'll either let it fly over their head or covertly find a way to blame you for their behaviours so that they can get away with their behaviour and avoid any consequences for their actions. Any behaviours you notice of a grandiose narcissist reactions to criticism, please do add those into the comments for people reading through. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers and your continued support with the channel. It's greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about narcissistic behaviour to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with within your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you understand and overcome narcissistic and emotional abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. If you are looking for further help and support in understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, I do have several online guides available and those teachable links are in the video description. If you're looking for someone to speak to, I have partnered with BetterHelp and their sponsored link is also in the video description. I do also have several books out on Amazon, 15 Rules to Deal with Narcissistic People If You Cannot Go No Contact, a Narcissists Handbook, which is the ultimate guide to understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, how to create boundaries around those who have no respect for your boundaries, and the new book, which is out now, which I have a copy here, which is the hilarious and horrifying narcissistic memes and their meanings, which is out now, available on Amazon in paperback, hardback, and ebook. If you'd like to take a look at those, the links will be in the video description. And please feel free to leave a review because that feedback helps when creating any new material. Thank you very much for listening. Go out there and create the day that you deserve because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.